What's good, everybody? Welcome into Early Edge Live. Our apologies a little bit. We were stuck in line at the pay window because we cashed so many tickets today in the 1 and 4 o'clock games. But, of course, this is the Early Edge, your daily sports betting brand of record. We are powered, as always, by the almighty SportsLine, the best value in all sports betting, and it's not close. And you know, on our prime time NFL shows, I bring the absolute very best. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you new, let me introduce to you live from Nashville, Tennessee, Music City, USA, the penthouse level. M Squared, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Coach. See ya, Proppy. Great to see you guys fired up for this game. I hope it's a lot better than the last primetime game we watched. Really, both of them. We'll call the morning game a primetime game as well. Yeah, excited for this game and tomorrow night's game. Should see some high-quality football here.
There's no doubt about it. I am super hyped. Now, this may or may not have happened just a few minutes ago. I get a text message, and it's somebody in the prop world who went like, I don't know, like 18-2, 17. I don't remember. Alex, do you remember who that was?
I don't remember. He's going to be unnamed for now, Coach. He comes from parts unknown. He might as well go unnamed. But great to see you, Coach. Great to see ya, Mikey. I'm hyped up. We went 4-1 on our Friday stream picks, Coach. That's 4 out of 5 weeks. We went 4-1, 19-6 on Friday picks so far this season.
Hey, Alex, stop. You know everybody that knows everything about sports betting knows that everybody wins 90%. We all know that. So quit bragging about 80%. That's not good enough. Now, this man is also an absolute savage, and he is the best-looking man in all of the Early Edge universe. See you, Najat. Good evening, sir.
Well, I get to go last because I was only 60% today from the Friday prop show. I went 3-2, although I really feel like Kareem Hunt should have got there. It was a few yards away. But anyway, I'm really excited to be on this Sunday show. I'll see everybody tomorrow night, too, for Monday Night Football. But let's roll with Sunday. This is an excellent, excellent division game to break down. A lot of questions likely not to be answered before the game necessarily, but certainly potentially after the game.
There is no doubt about that. We're hyped for it. So here's what we do on this show. For those of you that are brand new, we do our best bets. We talk about as many props as we can. If you have a prop, now AB's busy producing. He's not going to be in the chat tonight. If you have a question, put it in there with the juice. We'll get to as many as we possibly can. Then, top of the hour, we've got a donkey parlay that we've cashed several times already this year. We have a smaller goose parlay from Alex as well, and also the VJM. So I need 500 likes for the donkey, 550 for the goose, and for the VJM. So do me a favor, hit that like button and then get to talking in the chat. We love when it is popping. But gentlemen, let's get to our best bets for this game here tonight. And see, I would love it if you would start first, sir.
Yeah, let's start with Lamar Jackson over 57.5 rushing yards. I found this at -115 on FanDuel. I don't know if it's moved in the last 10 minutes, but if it has, it's probably moved to where most of the other books have it at 59.5, which I still like. I think once you get into the 60 range, you're kind of pushing it a little bit. So I'd probably cap it right around 59.5, 60.5. But I really think this is going to be a tough game for Lamar in one sense, but not in the rushing yard sense. So we know Rashad Bateman's not going to play in this game. Cincinnati, I think, is going to do an okay job with their safeties on Mark Andrews. And we just don't have a lot coming from like Demarcus Robinson, James Prochet, Devin Duvernay. Like they're fine receivers, but they're wide receiver threes at the end of the day. So I think what's going to have to happen is Lamar's going to have to be a superhero in this game. I think he's going to have to take over. Cincinnati's pretty good against the run, the traditional run against the traditional running back. I think we're going to see a lot of designed runs for Lamar Jackson, a lot of read option, a lot of just scrambles where he's going to have to just rush for some yards with his receivers not getting open. And I think this feels like kind of a must win for Baltimore, even though it clearly isn't. A very important division game. I think Lamar really goes out of his way to make sure he is the dominant one in this game because he doesn't have a lot around him on his support staff, if you will.
Now, it's interesting that you use the word dominate. It's interesting that you use those words because I too think tonight Lamar Jackson wants to show the entire world in a primetime game, Najad, that he is the total package. So I've got two plays. I'm going to go with his attempts over 29.5. I'm going to go with his yardage over 225. Now, before I hear all of Raven Nation come at me, I'm doing this for you. You all told me that he's the greatest quarterback on planet Earth. You all told me he is the MVP. Well, if he's an MVP, then in a shootout, he should be able to go over this number, which he's only done one time so far this year. I'm talking about his yards. So I'm going to play those two. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think this cashes easy. Now, Chris in the chat said, where is AB? I only show up for him. Well, guess up, Chris. He's not going to be on the show tonight. Guess what, Chris? I dictate.
Oh! Good afternoon, Coach. Good afternoon, everybody. Good to see you here, as always.
First of all, it's not afternoon. It may be for you, but it's not for us. It's 7:30 at night.
Yeah. For some reason, I'm on Hawaii time right now. I have no idea why.
All right. Well, since you're here, would you mind giving out your best bets for the game tonight, please?
Coach, I would be honored to live right here from the janitor's closet. We got some great 3 plays for you coming up tonight. First off, we're going to go both kickers here. Justin Tuck over 1.5 field goals. We're going to go Evan McPherson over 1.5. Evan McPherson has hit over 1.5 field goals, I think, since like 2 AD. This man is legitimately good for 2 to 3 field goals a game. We're going to roll with him here. And we saw what the Ravens did last week. They went with their, we're going to go all analytics all the time. How'd that work out for you? Loss, right? So I got a feeling that the Ravens are going to be, advantageous about using the greatest field goal kicker of all time on their team. So we're going to go with both of those there. Not to mention Joe Burrow over half an interception. Yes, he has had success against the Ravens defense. He's also put the ball in the air against them as well. We're going to roll with him that one. I think it's going to be a tight game. And the good news about it is that if we get in a shootout in this game, you hit both of those Lamars, awesome, dude. We're all cashing it. If it's a shootout but also tight, field goal kickers are coming to play. We're hitting yours, hitting mine as well. I think that these are legitimately good in any game script across the board. Yes, sir.
By the way, before you don't disappear, because there's some people that didn't watch the show this morning, and there's some people in the chat that didn't get to cash like we did. I call you the quarterback whisperer, yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes. What play did Carson Wentz throw his interception that we cashed on today?
Well, it was the last play of the game, and it was fantastic. Yeah, we needed it.
But then we were sitting on one. Matthew Stafford was late in the game. Not going to cash, throw the but hold the phone. When did Matthew Stafford cash?
Yep, about the third to last play of the game right there. Yeah, look, you know what? That's what's beautiful about not only quarterback interception props, but field goal kicking props as well, is that every single second in the game matters. You might sweat it, but they get work in almost every single second of the game. So, yeah.
You're damn right. Now, the chat. Thank you, AB. Appreciate you. You can go away now because they're asking in the chat, where are Alex's plays? Where are his plays for the game tonight? What do we tell you all the time? We don't force anything. If we don't have a play we like, we don't press it. Now, it doesn't mean he's not going to have information for you. It doesn't mean we're not going to ask him, but no official plays for him or Mikey tonight. All right, now, so let's get started on the props because we have our best bets. You guys get those in. But, Alex, let me start with you. When we talk about, and we joke a lot, but in all seriousness, tonight is a rubber meets the road type of night. What does the lab tell you should be the game script as far as looking at different props and what should happen tonight?
Yeah, super interesting matchup, obviously. Last time Joe Burrow took on the Ravens, he attempted 49 passes, threw for 525 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That is unbelievable against an extreme pass funnel defense that is Baltimore. That defense, though, was decimated by injuries at the time. It's a much more healthy Baltimore secondary. I do anticipate Joe Burrow once again throwing a lot against this Ravens team because they can't run the ball. I'm going to get into it when we talk about Joe Mixon props, how poorly and how inefficient and ineffective Mixon has been this season. But yeah, just looking at this Cincinnati offense, it's really interesting. If we look at T. Higgins and Jamar Chase side by side, if you look at, I saw a tweet earlier that was really interesting. They've run 591 routes simultaneously. T. Higgins actually has the edge on targets, catches and yards, not by a huge margin, but by a pretty sizable margin, which is interesting. I think most people would consider Ja'Marr Chase to be the superior wide receiver. However, opposing defenses are treating Ja'Marr Chase as the true number one in this offense. Chase has seen double teams on 30% of his routes compared to T. Higgins at 20%. That 10% difference is comparable to Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen, DK Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett. So if we look at opposing defenses, they are definitely allocating more resources towards stopping Ja'Marr Chase. T. Higgins is getting the more favorable matchups. That's been the case this season. We've seen T. Higgins have more production this season. But yeah, this is a really tough one for me to call where these targets are ultimately going to go, which is why I have a lot of leans in this game. I just don't have an official pick.
There's a lot of you watching right now that are brand new to the show, and you're thinking, damn, I spend 2 hours to get that much information on other shows. Yeah, I just saved you an hour and a half, because we're the best. We have the best information. Thank you, Alex. Now, Mikey, I got to come to you, because we haven't even talked sides and totals yet, because we just don't really know. 3 tells us that the books think it's an even game, and it's going to be in Baltimore, their favorite. But from the side perspective or the total perspective, what is your model telling you?
Yeah, so I make Baltimore almost minus 4.5, minus 4.2. It's between 4 and 4.5 in this game. So that's the side I would lean to at this point. I'm going to wait to play this live personally. I want to see a few things. I want to see Baltimore, how they operate, and then also how they plan to attack T. Higgins and Ja'Marr Chase. Do we see 2 high safeties like I think we do? Avoid all big plays, but I'm going to watch for that because things can change drastically. But my lean there is going to be on Baltimore with the spread -3. As far as the total, mostly the same thing. I'm going to wait to attack it live. It is a matchup that most people typically think screams over. However, I think that we've seen a lot in the NFL so far this season. Even defensive teams have definitely shifted their philosophies a little bit in terms of the safeties, really wanting to limit some of those big plays, which is what you typically get a lot from Cincinnati in the past. So I actually have a slight lean towards the under in the game. But not enough to play it because I think it's mostly very, very efficient. I think this game lands between 44 and 48 points.
Well, it's a good thing I bought it down to 47 then, isn't it? Oh,
yeah.
Sometimes when I make bets before Mikey talks, I'm always like, it's always see like, because I just respect his opinion.
Real quick, Coach,
yeah.
On it, the reason why I also say that on the under, the game plan for Baltimore here is going to be play keep away, right? I think that's really their best bet in this situation, considering the state of their roster. So I do expect them to attempt to run the football, and I expect a lot of emphasis on time of possession on that side. And then on the other side, we know Joe Mixon's going to have his 20 touches. They do that no matter what. He's one of the worst running backs in the NFL. They continue to do it. So that's why we have a slight lean towards the under, but again, it's very scary. Not something that I'm going to play.
Okay. And you brought up Joe Mixon. I'm going to come to you, Alex, but I got to ask Sia first before we talk about that. Based off of what Mikey just said, then do you think that, or who do you think, if that doesn't work, they're going to go to, and then I'm going to come to you for Joe Mixon, Alex. Who do you think, if they're going to run and it doesn't work, then who's the guy tonight that's going to have a big game?
Yeah, it really could be anybody. See, I think Cincinnati is actually going to flourish a little bit more than people think on offense here. I mean, listen, the yards per carry, it's been a tough scene for Joe Mixon. It's right around 3. It was 2.5 last game. But the Ravens are giving up a lot on the ground, and they're giving up a lot from a yards per carry standpoint, and they're giving up a lot in the passing game to running backs too. So I think Mixon could be really worked in, not just with the rushing attempts, but I think he could have a few more receptions than people think here too. And I got to be honest, with that secondary of the Ravens, I think Ja'Marr Chase and T. Higgins really could get loose here. And I agree with Mike that you might see that the 2 high safeties, and you might just have Joe Burrow just kind of checking down underneath to the short area routes to Ja'Marr Chase, to T. Higgins, to Tyler Boyd. The Ravens don't cover slot receivers well either. So I actually think this is a really tough matchup for the Ravens. I like the spot that they're in at home. They're coming off a couple tough losses. but I just don't think this is the best matchup for them. If anything, I would, and it's not a play for me. If anything, I would actually be on the other side of this one, taking the Ravens plus the point. Excuse me, taking the Bengals plus the points. In terms of who's going to flourish, I would go with Jamar Chase. I think he could pile up the receptions. I actually considered putting out his over in his receiving yards prop of 71.5. I never made it an official play, but I could absolutely see him getting there.
Well, it went down by 2 yards. It's at 69.5 now, and his catch number is 5.5 at -121 if people are so inclined. Thank you, Sia. Now, Alex, let me come to you because we're talking Joe Mixon. We're talking his numbers. Now, his combo number is 83.5. His rushing number, 59.5. And then if you're talking catching the ball, 3.5 and 20.5. The floor is yours, sir.
Going to get to both those mixing props. One thing I did want to point out really quickly regarding this Ravens team, this is interesting. They are 5th in the NFL with a 5% pass rate over expected this season. You would not expect that out of a Baltimore Ravens football team, but they've actually been throwing the ball quite a bit, something I expect them to continue. I do think, like Mike mentioned, though, they will try to establish the run, but this Ravens team will also throw the ball if they're forced to, so something to look out for. As far as Joe Mixon is concerned, wanted to get into how ineffective this guy has been. He leads the NFL with 24.0 expected points per game. PFF has a stat that he is leaving 9.7 fantasy points on the field per game. This guy has been so unbelievably ineffective, by far the least efficient running back in the NFL. Part of that has to do with this Bengals offensive line. They are terrible at run blocking, a bit better at pass blocking. So hard to like Mixon based on what we see. He does get a ton of volume. He might get home on sheer volume alone, but the guy has not been good. Then as far as his receiving stuff is concerned, he doesn't play that much on third downs. He trails P. Ryan 58% to 30% on third down snap percentage. So that is not someone I would want to invest in when looking at receiving props. I also talk about ad nauseum how I hate running back receiving props. This would be one I would go out of my way to avoid because of P. Ryan's usage on third down. So yeah, do not like Joe Mixon very much. Maybe some volume-based stuff, but his numbers are low. But this guy has been so ineffective this season. I expect that to continue tonight.
All right, so I know you haven't made an official play, and somebody in the chat was asking if the play you made in your article for this game is still live.
I do like the play in my article. That is a bit more speculative. I do have a play that I like in this game that I can get to now if you would like. If I had a lean that I had to pick for this game, I like Mark Andrews tonight for a variety of reasons. He is the number one receiver, even though he's a tight end for this Baltimore team. He has a 34% target share and a 39% air yard share. That is off the charts for a tight end. That is something only elite wide receivers have. So Mark Andrews is phenomenal. He has everything you look for as far as the target floor, the air yards, the A dot. It is all elite, and no Rashad Bateman tonight. So he's going to get a healthy amount of work. If we see this Ravens team if we see them a little more tilted towards the pass tonight, I could see 12 to 14 targets. This sets up as a potential Mark Andrews spike game. So I like his receptions line at 5.5 quite a bit.
Oh, 5.5. I love it. I'm trying to find it before you said it because you know it's going to change. It always does. So we got that play he just added. Mikey, let me come to you because we got several questions in the chat. So let's go. I love when you talk to me about what you think as far as team totals are concerned. And the Bengals, some books are 22.5. My book is 21.5. What do you make of the team totals? And the Ravens are 26 also.
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly coming down to what I said on the full game. I think they're very, very appropriate where they're at. If you forced me to, I personally don't think there's any edge on any totals tonight in this game, pregame. I don't. Unfortunately, it's dead on the model for the most part. If anything, it would be a lean on the under on the Cincy side, but I don't feel super confident in that.
All right. What about Lamar Jackson real quick? Hey, there was a boost in the chat to plus 150 on him throwing over 1.5 touchdowns. That's a significant boost because it was really juiced. At least earlier it was before people started betting it. Do you like that boost?
Yeah, I mean, if it's boosted to plus 150 on 1.5 touchdowns, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Sia, let me come to you because we're talking about the receivers of the Bengals. Now, last year was all about Boyd and Chase and Higgins there, but this year they've kind of started to spread it out. Tyler Boyd, his yardage is only 39.5. Your thoughts?
It's still a little higher than I would like it to be, but again, the Ravens haven't been good at all against the slot receivers, and obviously all the attention is going to be paid to presumably a healthy T. Higgins and Jamar Chase on the outside. So I like it. It's not an official play for me for a reason. I would have liked that number to be like, I don't know, 35.5 or 36.5. 39.5 sounds pretty high to me. So it's a stay away for me, but my lean would probably be to the over there.
Mikey, go.
Yeah, I would say on that one, if you're interested in Boyd, you don't necessarily have to pull the trigger on it right away. You definitely want to see how Baltimore intends to defend this in terms of the safeties. And then keep in mind, T. Higgins, while he's been elite and he's always had a lot of questionable status, he is dealing with an ankle injury in this game. It's not significant, but it is of note. So having that factor combined with we are not exactly sure how they intend to attack them defensively, it could be a very interesting live play, even as early as midway through the first quarter. If there's no participation on the first drive, that number is going to come down to a number around 27, 28, which is a lot more obtainable even than 36, 37, 38.
Yeah, you can really learn a lot about live betting from Mikey. I encourage you to follow him on social media because he's always giving out little nuggets that really can help you with your betting. Alex, let me come back to you because in the chat, your play on Andrews at 5.5, it's juiced pretty heavy. Some places have it up to 6.5, but only -110. Would you feel comfortable with that?
I'd skip the 6.5. I think the 6.5 is very efficient. When we're looking at receptions props, they are very, very thin margins. When you go from 5.5 to 6.5, that is a massive leap. So even though it doesn't seem like much, it's only one. That's a significant difference. So like the 5.5, I got it at -130. Again, this is not an official play of mine, something I'm playing, but I don't have a significant edge on it. Hence why I'm not making an official pick. But I like the 5.5. If you can get it at -130, I think that's a good price. Probably pay up to about -145 for it.
All right. We are just 4 minutes away from the top of the hour. If you have not hit the like button, please do that for me. I need 500 to get the donkey. And you guys know me. I'm not just going to give it away. You got to earn it. My guys work too hard to give this stuff away for free. Unless you're not a member of SportsLine yet. And you can use the promo code early. I'll give you 30 days for free. You can try all my cappers, all the guys you see on the screen right here, everything. And then you'll be playing with house money. You're welcome. Now, see ya. Let me come back to you. Because we've talked about Chase, we've talked about Higgins, we've talked about Boyd, but somebody for the Ravens is going to have to catch the football tonight if I'm going to hit my two plays, right? So Let's talk about the Ravens side of thing. Who do you like here for him? Because Alex said he thinks it's going to be a spike game for Andrews. Who else?
It's a good question. I mean, I think Devin Duvernay is the next man up, and he's probably the most talented guy of. I mean, let's think about it. We got Tylan Wallace, we got James Prochet, we've got Isaiah Likely, sort of like the backup dual tight end. All of those guys, like for DFS or showdown purposes, I think are in play. But I really do think it's Devin Duvernay. That's probably the second in command. I didn't really like anything with respect to his over or under in terms of his receiving props, but I wouldn't shy away from calling that Devin Duvernay is definitely going to be like the second in command behind Mark Andrews from a target standpoint. But here's the reality though. Like there's not a lot of target monsters. Even when Rashad Bateman is healthy, there's just not a lot of target monsters on this team outside of Mark Andrews.
I agree with you. I guess what I feel like tonight is that, and Alex, I'm going to come back to you. I just feel like this is going to be a shootout. I feel like we have done all these primetime shows, right? And they've all been coming to the under. We're like, what? Where's the game script at? So I think tonight is going to be big time. So, Alex, I know you don't normally like quarterback props as far as yardage is concerned. I'm playing Lamar. Burrow's at 237.5. They're obviously lower because they haven't done much so far. Is it crazy to think both could go over tonight?
Burrow, I believe, is at 273, Coach. Yeah, Lamar, I believe, is at 231. Not sure.
You're right. Well, Lamar's at 225. Burrow's at 273. I think I got those two numbers mixed up.
With the right game environment, they are both certainly capable of going over. There are a wide range of outcomes with how this game goes, and there are certainly some within that where both these quarterbacks go over. That is not outside the realm of possibilities whatsoever. If that's going to happen, you're going to see that trickle down to other players. You're going to see potentially a spike game from a Jamar Chase. For Lamar to go over his passing prop, it would absolutely shock me if he does go over, if Mark Andrews doesn't have a big game. I think one is contingent on the other, especially if you're looking at Lamar. I just do not see the talent with this wide receiver group unless it's Mark Andrews. So as far as other Baltimore pass catchers, I just think it's
Let me stop you right there. I just had an idea that you're going to love. If you hit yours and I hit mine, and people, I don't know what they have to, but let's give away $100. If both of our hits, we each give away $100 to some lucky person in the chat that writes. Let me think about it for a second. Are you down for that? Are you down
Coach,
for that?
you know I'm down for that.
All right.
How about they write? Okay, I have an idea for what they could write.
Give it to me.
Cowboys.
I like it. All right.
Yeah,
All right.
okay.
So, if you want to be a part of us selecting, if you want to be one of the lucky ones, write Cowboys into the chat. And then I need your Venmo handle as well. That's all I need. Cowboys, Venmo. Then we know. And then AB will pick two very lucky people. We're not going to tell you right now. We're going to wait till it hits, but we'll have them all in the chat, and then we'll announce it tomorrow morning live on the show if both of those plays hit. Now, also, Alex, apparently we're like 10 away from the goose. Apparently people don't want the goose as bad as they want the donkey. So what do you normally say when they don't do that?
I say, give it to me. Give it to me. Give me those likes. I spend so much time in the lab. I do it out of the kindness of my heart. All I want to do is beat these books, help you beat these books, make your weekend, give you a parlay that you can smash, and just give me some more likes, and we'll give you this beautiful parlay. And I feel like there's good karma going around. Mike's going to hit his, and I'm going to hit mine for the first time on the same night together.
All right, I'll tell you what. If that happens, we hit both of those together, I'll throw in another $100 for a third person in the chat.
I'll throw in another 100 as well.
Wow.
What? $400, 4 winners. But you got to write Cowboys. You got to write your Venmo, and we got to get to $500.
Coach, real quick, I will throw in $100 if I just hit my parlay. I want to put that out. If my parlay hits, I will throw $100 in no matter what.
Okay.
Same.
Mike, we're up to 5. See ya. Don't be left out.
I don't have a parlay. You tell me what to throw $100 on. I'll throw it. I don't care.
Lamar's rushing prop.
Yeah,
Okay.
your prop.
If I hit Lamar, okay, my bad. Okay, yeah. If Lamar's rushing prop comes in, I'm Venmoing somebody $100, 100%.
Let's go. All right, so I believe that's $600. What other show is doing that for you? What other show? Now, you got to earn it, though. We got to win together. So, write the Cowboys, write your Venmo, and AB and I will figure out who the 6, I can't even believe it, 6 winners. Now, we could hit one, but it could be one winner, it could be 6, but it's going to be fun, and that's the whole point. Now, we've crossed the top of the hour, so we've got 3 very important things to do in the next 10 minutes. Mikey, you know it's your time. For those of you who are brand new to the show, the Donkey Parlay and the Goose, it's a lot of fun, but they also hit, and those are 2 things we love. So, Mikey, the floor is yours, sir.
All right. Oh, we got the sounder still. Lovely. All right, here. We got the Donkey Parlay tonight. For those of you wondering, I had to move to MGM instead of DraftKings tonight because they've locked me out of Mark Andrews receiving yards for some reason, so I can't play it there. So I had to move over here. We are going with Hayden Hurst, 10-plus receiving yards. Joe Burrow, over 230 passing yards. Jamar Chase, 55-plus receiving yards. Lamar Jackson, 195-plus passing yards. Mark Andrews, 55-plus. T. Higgins, 55-plus. And then, once again, I told you I think the market is incredibly efficient on this game. We should see a very competitive football game. Bengals plus 13.5, Ravens plus 6.5, over 37.5 total points in the game, plus 600.
I'm telling you right now, if you've never played a donkey before, you're going to have so much fun. It keeps you interested through the whole game, and then we all meet at the pay window, and it's a lot of fun. Now, that's the donkey. Have we got the 550 likes? Are we there? Are we there? Yes?
Oh, yeah. We're over 600. We're
over 600.
We're there. Yep, we are there. Everybody's done their job.
You did your job. We will do ours. All right, Alex. I'm ready for Goose. Give me the Goose. Let's go.
Here we go. Yes. Love it. Love it. I want to say this is also the first time ever that I have found or I've given a parlay with better odds than Mike's. So tip of the hat to me. And here we go. This is the goose. You can also see that a lot of overlap with Mike's. Again, we do not consult each other before we make these. So as the old adage says, great minds think alike, Mikey. But first up, we're going Baltimore Ravens over 16.5 points. They have to score 17 points. Over 13.5 points for the Bengals. Over 230 yards, just like Mikey has for Joe Burrow. Over 170 passing yards for Lamar. Under 50 yards receiving for Demarcus Robinson. Over 10 yards receiving for Hayden Hurst. Mikey also has that as well. Over 25 yards receiving for Tyler Boyd. Over 50 yards receiving for T. Higgins. And last but not least, and probably the most crucial part of this, a Mark Andrews anytime touchdown. Put that all together, it gets you plus 700 odds. And that's the goose.
I could see this coming right down to the fourth quarter. Everything hits, and all we're sweating over is a Mark Andrews touchdown. Oh, my goodness. Speaking of sweat, one of us may or may not be sitting on a plus 2,800 ticket on the golf, and the guy that I bet against is in a bush, and the guy that I'm betting on is in the middle of the fairway on the final hole. What could go wrong, Sia and Mikey? What could go wrong?
Coach, are you gonna know the result live on stream?
Depends how much longer we're on, but yes, we will find that out. They're on the 18th hole, and they're 3 shots clear of everybody else, and they're tied 24 under. And I have Tom Kim against Patrick Cantlay.
Coach, I hate to speak on your behalf, but I want to. If you hit that, I believe someone deserves $100 in the chat.
Because I'll win 2,800, right? If I win that, and I may or may not have a head-to-head today, pretty pricey too. So you know what? I'll do 300s. I'll throw out another 100 if Tom Kim can beat Patrick Cantlay, who's in a bush in the native area. Then I'll add another $100 to another winner. No, Jacob. Oh, that's our Jacob. I was like, no, you can't write Cantlay. It's Cowboys, but it's the jeweler. He wrote Cantlay. Oh, of course he would want me to lose. All right, now. It's time for the VJM. We've given out the donkey. We've given out the goose. And this is the most fun thing we do in all of the early edge universe. And it's called the VJM, the Van Jefferson Memorial first touchdown of the game score. And the result, the winner, if you cash, you get to go in this very exclusive club. Right now, there's one person in there. He's wearing a flannel shirt. He's wearing some blue jeans and maybe a jacket. So we don't know. But the maestro's in there all by himself. He's getting very lonely. So we need somebody else. Mikey named this. It's his thing, and we all just get to play with him. So, Mikey, you're up first.
All right. Chief just came to tell me we should take Tyler Boyd for the first touchdown in this game. Look, Sia's mentioned it 3 or 4 times tonight. This team doesn't defend the slot super well, and there's a lot of additional attention in the red zone paid to Jamar Chase everywhere on the field, but in the red zone, T. Higgins and Joe Mixon catching passes out of the backfield. The guy that gets the least amount of attention here is going to be Tyler Boyd. I like him in this spot. Shop around. You can find it between plus 1,400 and plus 1,800 out there. Love Tyler Boyd for the first touchdown. It's probably the only ball he catches tonight, but that's where it's going to be.
You watch, it'll be for 42 yards too, so he'll cash his over in one catch, as we always like to say. All right, Alex. Eric says in the chat, are you sending this money out, Prop Stars, or are these the hundreds from your Austin Eckler cash? For those of you who don't know, you may have cashed a plus 2,500 ticket live here on the show last week, but I mean, everybody does that. Go ahead.
I've also been giving out quite a bit of money on Twitter too. If you follow me, I put a lot of props out, and if they go over, I send out $100. So a good reason to follow me. But yeah, we're sending out a lot of money tonight. I hope, Coach, and all of us. But yeah, I'm going VJM. Before I give my VJM, I want to say I think Mike's getting ready to enter the VJM because you saw his Twitter picture change, and he just looks like he's ready for the club. That's Mike's club attire. He knows he's going in tonight, so we did the Twitter picture change. So yeah, I think Mike's getting in tonight. But we're going T. Higgins. I found this at plus 1,000 odds. Couldn't believe it. T. Higgins, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL at plus 1,000. Do I need to give a further explanation? The guy's scored, I think, 14 career touchdowns. No, I don't. T. Higgins.
Sia, now welcome to Sunday nights, Sia. Welcome to Sunday nights.
I mean, he's taking the best receiver in football.
And literally it's like plus 1,000 at like a book in Bangkok.
DraftKings. DraftKings.
All right. By the way, Patrick Cantlay hit the ball and it disappeared. Like they couldn't find it. It stayed in the book. So he's now hitting 3.
Oh, wow.
That's good for you, right?
Yes, that's fantastic.
Okay, I'm not a golf guy, so I'm just making sure, Coach.
That is great for us. And now they had to call in a rules official to figure out what he's going to do. This is crazy.
Wow.
This is crazy. Crazy finish. All right. So while we're keeping track of that, and somebody's going to get $100, hopefully. Now, see ya. Who do you like tonight, big boy?
So everybody watch the first cut, by the way. Coach cashes stuff like this all the time at 28-1. And oh, by the way, I might have cashed a first-round leader of Tom Hoagie at 60-1 just a few days ago. But just putting that out there for those of you that don't know, catch the first cut as well. But here's the thing. You know, I did this 3 times. I've entered the club 3 different times last year. And I did it with the non-sexy pick, right? It was, who was it? Hunter Renfrow, Donald Parham, Tyson Williams. So I'm going to go with that theme and another unsexy pick. He's slow. He's methodical. He's traveled from team to team. He's in his, 6th year. His name is Demarcus Robinson. And he's basically going to be the wide receiver 2 for this team. He's going to be the reliable target when Lamar's back to pass, and he looks at his first read, and Mark Andrews is bracketed, and nobody else is open. Throw it to Demarcus Robinson. He was reliable at Kansas City. He's going to be reliable tonight, and he will be your first touchdown scorer at plus 1,800. I'll get fitted for my jacket.
I tell my kids all the time, sometimes when somebody's trash talking and it's truth and there's nothing you can say, you don't say anything. And it drives me insane. Absolutely insane that you are such a savage. Oh, my God. All right, so my pick, I'm going to go with the guy that Sia said would be the next one down for Mark Andrews tonight, and that's Devin Duvernay. And he's at plus 1,100. And, Alex, he was plus 1,100 at a lot of sports books, not just one. So I'll take Duvernay because Lamar's got to throw it to somebody, and I think the Ravens are going to start fast, and I like this one quite a bit. Real quickly, Jake the Snake, our new producer, Joe Burrow, plus 3,000. Interesting that he would make that pick. Anyway, all right, AB, show your face one more time. Where's that big old fat smile that I love? So there he is right there. Who you going with tonight, big boy?
Yes, sir. We are going with the Ravens defense, and I'll tell you why. Look, I mean, we're going to get in the club on this one for sure, but what we're also looking to do is we're all about efficiency these days, Coach. It's October. You know what? We got to get our things in order. We've got holidays coming up. So we're not only going to hit the Ravens defense, but we're going to do it via a Joe Burrow interception pick 6, so we can go ahead and get that one off of the best plays for tonight as well, right? So that's what we're trying to do, Coach. We're trying to get our game tight, right, efficient, and bring it with some might. So let's go right there, Ravens defense.
As you were giving that take, Patrick Cantlay may or may not have hit it into the water on his.
Oh, my gosh.
That's a good sign right there.
Alex, that's good for us. Yes, that's good for us.
Good,
yes,
Coach. I've got an AB nugget for you guys regarding, Coach, your pick, Devin Duvernay. He clocked the fastest time recorded in NFL history this season on his 104-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. I believe it was like 27 miles per hour was the fastest time ever clocked in NFL history by a player.
You know what? That's only going to be rivaled by how fast I run to the pay window to catch that plus 2,800 ticket. All right, it's almost time for Sunday Night Football to start. So we got to go around. Throw up the best bet screen for me, AB. And you know I like to end every one of our shows asking my guys what's the number one thing they're most looking forward to, so you can look forward to it as well and learn and take that into next week and the week after that. So, Mikey, start us off.
I'm just looking forward to a very competitive football game, hopefully cashing the donkey and the goose here. And I think there's going to be a lot of live in-game opportunities. I think we're going to have a very competitive game, so I'm very fired up for it.
All right, Alex, talk to me.
Nothing would make me happier than cashing the goose, cashing the donkey, and then all of the props that we've talked about, cashing those and giving out all this money tonight like Santa Claus.
See ya. Bring us home.
Coach, I like your angle of the over on this game. I think this is going to be a high-scoring, dynamic game, and I think the only way the Ravens win is if Lamar Jackson puts his cape on and becomes Superman, because to me, the odds are stacked against him when you look at the matchups here on both sides of the ball. So I think the Ravens can win this game, but I expect Cincinnati to apply a lot of pressure in terms of scoring, and I think Lamar's really going to have to turn it on, and I think he can.
All right. I think you can too, obviously, for my plays, but I'm most looking forward to tonight interacting with all of you on social media, on Twitter, and every time we catch a ticket, let's pick each other up. And then when it hits and we pay 7 different people tomorrow, all I want to see on my Twitter is thank you. And thank you to Sia. And thank you to Alex. And thank you to M Squared. Because we think about you and we value you. And we couldn't do this without you. So, as we are down to just a couple of minutes until we kick off Sunday Night Football, I can tell you this. There's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching order. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire crew, love them all. Sia Najad, the best looking man in all the universe. M Squared, Prop Stars. AB on the 1s and the 2s. I am the coach. Tell all your friends you want to laugh a little bit. You want to have some fun. You want to catch some tickets, but you want to do it together. There's only one place right here at the Early Edge. Good luck.